Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Band Variety channel. In today's video I'm going to be showcasing some additional add-ons to the Minecraft world. Now recently, in a few currency lesson videos ago, might have been a couple months ago, I said that after I bought a new Xbox console, this world corrupted. However, I did get it back in one of the recent updates, and I said that in my um, currency lesson video. I made some additions that I've been doing for the past couple months and did some work on here, and took a few breaks, and now I am showcasing once again some new additions back on this world. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to get right into it. So we have one new addition here that's interesting to show you on this side of the world, and then we will be traveling to the Epsberg city neighborhood thing in order to see the additions for that. But anyway, it appears that our exhibition here has already come out to see us. So this is the original pig that was in the house at the front of the world.
They had this pig and a sign that says "Make me a member."
Anyway, that house that says "Make me a member" in front of it, that was my friend years ago. He came on and he built that, and he put a pig there in that little pen that you see. And this pig has since had a corrupted texture. I think from all the constant updates and me getting this corrupted world uncorrupted and etc., it has caused this texture to dissipate. So now it is just a solid black pig. And since I've named it Jackson's Pig after the owner of the pig, so that's just a rare deity that I just figured I'd show you, and it will be a new addition to the archive building. I'm gonna have to put some measures into place because obviously Jackson's Pig has figured out how to make it out of this building, unlike the zombie horse that is in there. So I will be trying to get him back in here, but we're not going to be doing that in this video. But anyway, guys, we're going to move on to the other side of the world now. So now, guys, we are on our way back to, or on our way to the other side of the world, the Epsberg neighborhood section. So I just took the quickest way there. We will be flying. So basically what I am doing is I am now putting mechanical things into these houses. So basically, before I didn't have any AC units, furnaces, etc., heating and cooling elements, plumbing, things like that. And you can't really, this game doesn't really have any of those mechanics built into it. So I kind of had to use my imagination, but I was able to come up with several things I was able to do mechanical wise by just using the items provided in this game. So I started way at the end, and I'm going to work my way down. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done here, but I've started with the Epsberg Suites apartment building. So upon looking at this in the previous video, the very first or second time that I showed you this building, it looked way different, and you're going to see what it looked like now. So as you can see here, there were several things different in that photo. One of those different things is obviously this entire apparatus on the roof wasn't there. I had a couple little, look like condenser units, or cooling units on the roof just sitting there, and that wasn't really that realistic. So basically what I did is I installed a rooftop chiller condenser. So basically these are basically air conditioners on steroids. They're used mainly in commercial stores and on commercial buildings that need a lot of different, obviously need more cooling power than a standard condenser air conditioner can supply. So obviously we have a couple condensers here. We have our we have ductworks. We got several things here, vents, all this stuff put in here in order to convey this idea of that. So that is how this building is cold. Down here, this also was not here. I added a large gas meter which reads the amount of gas that is put into the building. supplying the gas boiler and things like that. So I have that coming up from the main line going into here. So that's that. This is also our air vent for the boiler, pulling in fresh air, and I have my flue pipe for the fresh air, for the exhaust from the boiler. So that is that. So those are, I also widened this road a couple blocks and made a longer sidewalk so I could have room for people to walk and put that gas meter in. So I did that. I also did add a laundry vent. This is a vent for the dryers that I put in, a dryer and washing machine for everybody to use in the apartment building. So this is a huge vent where all the dryer vents come together and expel the air. I also added a curb stop or curb box water shut-off main. You can shut the water off to the building. I also added a gas shut-off main as well. I also redid the street lights to be on a daylight sensor, so they come on only at night, which is when we need them to come on. And I redid them from their previous design of this over here. So as you can see, these are on, and they don't really do a whole lot because it's daytime and we don't really need the light, and they don't look that great either. So I will be adjusting these as I move down. I start by only adjusting the street lights in the specific areas where I'm working, and as I move down the line, I fix those ones as well. But anyway, I also align them so they're directly across from each other. That's not how they are. They usually start diagonal from each other. So if you have a street light there, you need to have a street light on this side here, and then a street light down there, and vice versa, and they're just diagonal to each other. So I removed a lot of the street lights and put them in that orientation. I also added a cable box for the cable connections going to each apartment. I also added a high voltage transformer, transforming the voltage down to whatever is needed to go to supply power to the apartment building and apartments. So that is this various machine here, or this machine here. I also have the dumpsters. I added in a large electric meter for the apartments, which reads the amount of electric used, both by the apartment building and the apartments that the residents pay for. So basically, a reader, and this is in real life too, a reader would come by and clip these meters and see how much it reads, and then that's how the billing is calculated. So obviously each apartment pays their own bill for the amount of electric they use, and the owner of the apartment building pays for the electric they use in their hallways and everything else that the residents do not pay for. All the electric they do not pay for. So that's that. We also had the dumpsters and our sewer. This is our clean out for our sewer, so we can take this off and clean it out. And we also have the fresh air to help it drain. So I put those in, and now basically that is everything on the outside that has been changed. So now we will move into the inside, which has undergone extensive renovations. So the first thing is obviously I moved this door back and got rid of this pressure plate opener, because if somebody's walking by, they're going to step on this and open the door constantly, and we don't want that. So we just have it, you open it by hand, and then the pressure plate closes it behind you, and when you're leaving, you just step on the pressure plate and it opens. Before I had two pressure plates, so you stepped here and it opened. People walking by would be accidentally opening the door off and on, and that would get old for the secretary. So as we can see here, it is quite different. So now I will show you a photo of what it looked like before.
So you go in here.
So as we can see, quite different in here now. A lot more detailed. I added a television, a copy machine, a printer, or that might be a printer, I don't know. I get so lost up in my thoughts. I make so much stuff I actually forget. Shelf. I added a thermostat and a lockbox. Since there's a boiler, we have zones, so we send heat to each hallway, and there is a thermostat on each hallway or wherever the zone is, controlling that zone and controlling the temperature in that zone. So that's why we have a thermostat everywhere instead of just one for specific areas. This is in a lockbox, so people who are not supposed to be messing with the thermostat are not, and only the officials who need to are. And back here we have our a secretary's desk, which is even more detailed than last time. Some plants here, some books I added, some seats, and these are baseboard registers. So when a boiler is in a house or a building, it is usually it uses hot water to heat the house or the building. So basically, hot water goes through a copper pipe and it heats the water, but there are fins on the copper pipe that spin and radiate the heat off of the pipe. So it comes out of these baseboard registers and provides heat for the place, while the chiller is providing air conditioning in times when that is needed as well. So that's what that is, and we will be seeing a lot of these throughout the building. There's also ceiling registers where the cold air comes in from the chiller, and those are throughout the building as well. So that is down here. Originally there was a sign here that said manager's office in printing. I changed it to landlord. Obviously, I don't know that the landlord usually lives in or usually has an office in the apartment building. I'm sure he probably does, but he does in this one. So the stairs are usually still as narrow as they used to be, but I did renovate the top. So I will show you what it looked like before.
Here's your little corner, a little counter deck. Manager and printing is up here. So this is where we have people, you can come up here and get copies and stuff. And the manager there.
So beforehand, I had a door here, a narrow door. But instead, that wasn't as practical. So I cut a hole out and then made it into here. I also added some better machinery up here, some shelves, a closet shelf, a clock, some baseboard registers, some lights. I did forget to add switches, however, for these lights, so we'll be putting those in later. That's just, I've been doing a lot of stuff with these buildings, so it's easy to forget things. So I have gone back through them multiple times, but I did happen to miss that. I also cut these windows in here. As you can see in the video I showed you before, there were no windows in the manager's office. This should have a trap door on it for the baseboard heat. Obviously that's not a register, it's just a loom, but that's the best I can do with what the game has to offer. And then we have Robert Fuller here as the landlord, and I customized his office, some better lights, the ceiling registers, some paperwork, and the baseboard heater there, and so made his office a little bit better, but it already had most of the things it needed. And then I also put another box thermostat up here and some decorations on the walls. So that's that. So that's this part of the building done. So now we will move into here. So as you can see in the video before where I come through here, this was not here. So as you can see, this whole wall and all of this stuff was not here. This garage obviously was, but anyway, this is the boiler room that I made. So basically, these are a little bit highlights, but anyway, there's a lot of mechanical stuff going on here, so I will go over it as simply as I can for those of you that may not understand. So basically, this is a 750,000 BTU boiler. Jameson's obviously the name I made up for this world. And it basically heats the water and uses water from the hot pipe to go to the heat the house. So basically, or heat the building in the different apartments. So basically, this is a gas boiler. So this is the natural gas line coming out of the ground, goes through that green gas meter I showed you at the beginning, where when we were looking at the outside, and comes through here and supplies the boiler. It goes up to the rest where gas may also be needed throughout the building. Here I have a condensate line for your condensate pump, which when the boiler makes condensation, water, when it's heating, water will come out of here and drain into this drain, the excess water that is not needed. In here I have a gas shutoff valve, or that might be here. That's for something. This is our flue pipe to get rid of the fumes, and that's where that goes out of that flue pipe. This is where that saw that I had pulling air in outside comes through here. That air vent I showed you pulls air through here. and this is where the fresh air comes in to the boiler. This is our cold water, and this is our hot water, and then that is how water is heated, and then obviously that is that. This is the intake water, and then that's the hot water going out. The cold water would just be coming from the main water line. But anyway, this is our main water line coming in, supplying our boiler, and that is that. I also have a portable 50-gallon expansion tank here for extra water, and then there's our copper water lines there. These are all water meters, individual water meters that read the amount of water used by each apartment, and that is that. There's also an additional water meter for the main building itself somewhere, or I need to add that. But anyway, that is that. This is our shut off. These are our lights. This is emergency shut off here for the boiler, and there's another one in the other room. But anyway, that is basically the boiler room. So we have a couple shelves there I added. Starting with the garages, I made some updates to those. In here before, as you can see, I did not put anything in the garages. So what I did is I added some different things to make them look more lived in. So I added these rails for when the garage door comes up, just to add some detail to that. I also must have forgot to add a garage door light. So the light that comes on when the garage door goes up. Here we have a heater in here. So that's the adjustment for the heater, the rotary thermostat, our garage door opener, and our switch for our light. And then just some junk and some household things in here. And then same with the other garages, I added different things to customize them up. Same garage door rail, garage door apparatus, light, heating thermostat adjustment. I must have knocked the heater out of this room, so we'll put that back. Garage door opener, heater for that, heating thermostat for that, and our switch, that should be. It's not the correct switch that I wanted. So it's just constant maintenance here, going through, checking everything. So that is part of the lot of intricate details in building these. Baseboard heat, and then I just use these registers instead of ceiling ones, because that's where the ductwork comes in there. So these are obviously the garages, each for the apartments, but did the same thing here, just added some different stuff. And then also here, this door was clear out here, but I moved it back and then added this. So as you can see here, that's basically the garages. So now, and then this is our janitor room here. I added some different,
seeing a little janitor's closet there.
Different stuff. I added the huge breaker panel for that apartment buildings, all the breakers in there for shutting things off, all the electric, things like that. The light for in here, and the other boiler shut-off switch for down there, and then obviously the entry out into the dumpster and transformer area. So that's that. I also added mailboxes in for each apartment. Probably too many, but that's a good. Doorbells, and I also added, since they added that glow ink sac and glow dye where you can make signs glow, now I obviously revamped all my signs to make them more visible, like that. So we're going to start off with the first apartment. So this is the before video.
Apartment 1A. These are nice little rooms in here. Bedroom and bathroom. They are all designed the same, except they may.
So you may not be able to notice differences right away, but I will go over the many differences. So first we have, let me grab something first. I put thermostats in all the rooms, obviously for temperature adjustment. And I added some different kitchen revamping. So I added different oven types. Originally I had a furnace with the burner on top. Well, now we're adding these more efficient modern ovens with multiple burners. Um, I added, I don't even have some faucets for these sinks. So all little details I missed, but you can kind of see here all the things I'm adding, kind of how I built this just by me adding these little things. A dishwasher, a switch for the grinder in the sink, um, uh, that would be our microwave. Here we have baseboard heaters, ceiling registers, the doorbell thing, the doorbell comm, where you ring the doorbell and you hear the door. This is basically where that loud sound comes from to let you know somebody's at the door. Bathroom, I added mirrors. I also added switches for the lights and the fan to come on. Or that's the register. This is the fan to help bring the moisture down that fogs up on the mirrors when the shower's on, etc. Toilet, added a flush valve thing, or a flush handle. That's that. I also added some, obviously, registers and lights in the bedrooms, and revamped some of these. So you can see how the room looked before. So that's that. Now on to the next department. Before video.
Or 2A. So they are kind of flipped around. Now in a real apartment building, they would have the kitchens on the same walls. So the kitchen is as well, so the plumbing is aligned in the same. But
and obviously we can see how it is now. And then in the bathroom, which is different than you saw, and how the room has changed. Bedroom. Okay. All right, third apartment, second floor. We have some changes. Obviously up here.
Restrooms. This is the women's restroom. Men's restroom.
As you can see. For women, and then the men's bathroom. I added some urinals and etc., things like that. I do need to put registers in the ceiling. Okay, and then we have our third apartment here.
This is apartment 3B. Bathroom and the bedroom.
You can see how it has changed. All right, so now we have our fourth apartment.
4B in there. And they have a little closet.
You can now see how it has changed. Added some new ovens and things like that. So a lot more detail added than what was originally here. Okay, now we have that.
So you run up.
So here is the section of dryers. Now I do not know if it was even cut out, this wall here in this video. I didn't watch that video over yet until I will be editing this video, so I can't tell if what you're seeing is that I just didn't have anything in here, or where I recently added junk in here. But now we've made a purpose for this by adding the dryer and washing machine system for the residents here. So we have three washers here. We have or no, these are these are washers. These are three are washers, and the rest are dryers, drying machines. So basically, what I did is you can kind of see it. I've added these dryers in. This is where you can access the plumbing for these. These are just normal electric dryers. They're not gas. I've added a hot and cold water line for each of the dryers, and I've also added some slim dock dryer vents for these ones and some regular dryer vents for these. So basically these dryer vents all go into the wall into a big pipe that goes out into that vent I showed you when we were looking at the exterior. So as you can see there, I've made a purpose for this area. So now we have some laundry abilities for the residents to obviously do their laundry, which is well preferred when you're looking for an apartment. So up here, this was another narrow hallway.
Here, this will take you to apartment 5C. There's nothing in here. That's not apartment 5C. No.
But I cut the wall out. I added so much wall here that I could cut like 4 or 5 blocks out. So it was just amazing how much space that freed up. So I made a little sitting area up here, and then along with our other 2 apartments, so you can see how it looked before. And then how it looks now. So I added some decorations here. I added a sign to tell you that laundry's there. I added a little janitorial area, which might have been here before, I don't know, with a janitor's cart and things like that. I added this here, just some decorations, some books, seating area. I cut all these windows out, made them nice and even, so you can look at that from the outside. I also added some areas here, some plants, our baseboard and ceiling registers here. And that is it in the ceiling, it's right there. But
not too sure why that's there. 5C is vacant, so it's nothing in there really.
Anyway, apartment 5C is still vacant, but I added some cutouts for the lights where they would go in, and where the ceiling register is, the comm for the doorbell, our baseboard heaters, things like that, our baseboard heat registers, and our bathroom here. It looks like this is kind of new, but anyway, that is that. I do have to change out that light real quick, and then put some switches in. So that is basically that. It hasn't changed much, but it is vacant, so that's why nobody's living in here. Anyway, now we have the 6th apartment and final apartment. So here we can see how it looked before.
Apartment 6C is inhabited. So that's that.
So we have that, how it looks now. So I am very pleased with how this stuff turned out with the time that was put in to do it. So it is hard to make stuff look nice in lots of places because of the way this game's mechanic is set up. But if you just think about it and use the stuff that is applied, you can make a pretty realistic building with the stuff that is supplied here. Our bathroom in here. So that's that. And that is the apartment building. So it has been revamped extensively. And it has turned out way better than it was before. So I'm very pleased with how this building turned out. So we will now be exiting the building and going to the 10 First Court, our first house, which I also remodeled. And I will be remodeling all the houses that I built now. So I am started on the second house, but we will not be showing that in this video because it will be too long, and I need to finish doing that, obviously.